Hello and welcome back to the Mojave, everybody. Welcome back to New Vegas, where today we're going to be taking a look at the shotguns in New Vegas once again, and we're going to be ranking them based on their design. This isn't going to be based on their stats. Pretty much all the shotguns in New Vegas are quite good, and I have tier lists talking about them as to how good I think each of them are. This is purely going to be from a design aspect, which luckily all of the shotguns in New Vegas are actually based on real shotguns, or at least for the most part they are. So let's start out at our lowest place at number 9, where we have the Caravan shotgun. The Caravan shotgun has a lot of things going for it. It's actually not that bad of a design. The one that you're seeing in the game is a different model thanks to mods, so it does look a lot cleaner than the other one. So kind of keep that in mind because the original one is quite a bit more beat up. It's more rusted. It's got this big screw sticking out of the back of it that's basically your sight, which I really don't like. That's the main thing that I dislike about the Caravan shotgun. You should just drive the screw right down. I know that the barrel is supposed to be kind of cut shorter on this, so maybe it doesn't have a front bead, but honestly, you wouldn't really need that for a shotgun, especially since you've already cut the gun down. You're probably just going to be using it at fairly close range. I do like this gun quite a bit. It's based off of an under and over double barrel shotgun. They're generally sporting shotguns in real life. An under and over double barrel kind of gets you better accuracy or better shot placement than a side-by-side double barrel, because naturally you're going to have one leading a little bit more to the left, one leading a little bit more to the right, whereas the under and over, you're going to have one that's a little bit higher and a little bit lower. But if you're, say, duck hunting or something like that, it's going to be easier to just keep that on target if you need multiple shots. So under and over double barrel I think is good. It's a 20 gauge shotgun, which is kind of cool. I like that there's 20 gauge and 12 gauge in this, since in pretty much all the other Fallout games, it's just shotgun shells, presumably 12 gauge, which does kind of make sense. Those are two of the most common shotgun shells in the world, so it makes sense to have them in here. And as for a wasteland weapon, I don't think an under and over double barrel is all that bad. It's very unlikely to fail you, and it should work just fine against most of the things throughout the Mojave. It's just the only downside is that you only get 2 shots. Coming in at number 8, we have the unique version of this with the sturdy Caravan shotgun. This one is a lot nicer than the regular Caravan shotgun. Still has the problem with the screw sticking up in the back. So again, just drive the screw down and you should be fine. That's not a big deal. Pretty much all the same pros and cons go to this double barrel. It's just this one looks a lot nicer. It looks like it's been kept a whole lot better than the Caravan shotgun. So I would prefer the sturdy Caravan shotgun over the standard Caravan shotgun, just because, I would like a gun that's a little bit more taken care of. I don't want to see a bunch of rust on my gun. That would not give me a whole lot of confidence. It still has some weird issues, though, specifically in-game issues, where it's not affected by shotgun perks just because it isn't coded into the game the right way. So that's a little bit of a bummer, and it does have more spread. Again, that's kind of a downside, but since we're just basing this off of design, this one is pretty good. Coming in at my number 7 spot, we've got the Riot shotgun. Now, this one I would really enjoy if it had a full stock. That's the main thing that's holding this back. I'm not entirely certain which gun that the Riot shotgun is based off of. I've seen a couple different guns that it could be, and it kind of seems like a mishmash between them. So this doesn't look like it wouldn't work. It looks fine as a shotgun. It's just that having a pistol grip shotgun in like the wasteland I think wouldn't really be that great of an idea. I don't know why you would need that, especially without the barrel being cut shorter too, because that would sort of make sense if you just wanted to have something that was really compact that you could hide into casinos. It still seems like it has not necessarily like a full length barrel on it, similar to the hunting shotgun or the single shot shotgun, but it doesn't seem like the shotgun barrel is any shorter than like the cut down lever action shotgun, but at least that one has kind of a reason to be only cut to that length. This one could be cut shorter if you really wanted it. I think this one would just be better if you had a full-size stock on this. You know, you could keep the pistol grip and everything on it, and I don't think this one's bad. This one statistically is the best shotgun in the game. It makes it so you can just bully anything in the game, especially once you have end state back. Even though this one doesn't do the most damage per shot, it doesn't really matter once you can just reload the entire magazine and then just mag dump it into anything. It is incredibly powerful in-game, but not necessarily one of my favorite shotguns. So I wouldn't turn this down in the Wasteland, but it probably wouldn't be my go-to, at least the way that it's set up in New Vegas. So that's why it's a little bit down here. Coming in at my number 6 spot, we've got the sawed-off double barrel shotgun. This one, it is the same model as it was in Fallout 3, so it's a little bit wonky. It's not quite a regular double barrel. You've put like a new handle on it. Not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of different when you see that. And this is definitely a callback to something like Mad Max, where you've had the sawed-off double barrel. And you've pretty much always had the sawed-off double barrel in all of the Fallout games. So it makes sense that it would fit in here. It's the only shotgun that you can actually sneak into places, which is pretty good. It has a weird quirk to it where every time that you fire it, you have to fire out both barrels, which would not be pleasant at all. I wouldn't really want to do that with a sawed-off 12 gauge. I feel like that would definitely hurt the wrist. Would be very devastating in close range though, so it does kind of have that going for it. You can find these all throughout the wasteland. There's at least one unique one we need to talk about here in a second too. Sawed-off double barrel. I'm kind of surprised there isn't a full-size double barrel, at least side-by-side double barrel in New Vegas, since we do have the Caravan shotgun. But it is a little bit strange that everybody in the wasteland, whether you're on like the East Coast or the West Coast, seems to have cut down their shotgun to be a very short range shotgun. You think you would want a full size shotgun for a lot of jobs, you know, that way you could get all the benefits from it. A sawed off one is, I guess, good for sneaking around, and it would be good for carrying around if you wanted to use it as like a pistol or a close range weapon. It could work then, but probably wouldn't be my first choice. At number 5, we have the Big Boomer. This is the unique version of the sawed-off shotgun. This one you either have to steal or you have to kill somebody to get it. This one is just kind of a nicer looking sawed-off double barrel. It has better in-game stats. It looks like it's been kind of taken care of, although it is still worn, so I do really like that look in the wasteland. Again, kind of the same pros and cons of the regular sawed-off double barrel, though. Probably wouldn't really want to be using this a whole lot. It would be very unpleasant, but it could work fairly well, I think. Coming in at my number 4 spot, we have the single-shot shotgun. Now, the single-shot shotgun is based off of, well, just a single-shot shotgun. There's a ton of them. Loads of different companies have made single-shot shotguns, so don't know exactly what this one is from, but I mean, you could even put one of these together in the wasteland pretty easily, and this would probably be an extremely reliable weapon. It'd probably be one of the easiest weapons to repair too if it ever got damaged, because there's not a whole lot going on here. It's basically the trigger, the hammer, and the barrel, and then just a stock and some sort of foregrip to actually hold on to. You could have somebody with pretty decent skills in the wasteland, somebody that fixes things, be able to fix this quite easily, I imagine. You do find this throughout the beginning of the game. It's not really the strongest shotgun, and it wouldn't necessarily be my go-to to be carrying around in the wasteland, because one shot of 20 gauge isn't a whole lot, but this one would probably work really well if you wanted just something for hunting things in the wasteland. And I feel like this would get the job done, as well as you could use it in, well, a designated weapon sort of role. That probably wouldn't be my first choice again. You'd probably want something else. But the single-shot shotgun does look pretty good, and it looks like it would be functioning just fine. At my number 3 spot, we have the lever-action shotgun. This one is just awesome. Lever-action weapons in general are really, really cool. They fit with the Western theme really well. And the lever-action shotgun is the strongest of the 20-gauge shotguns in the game, where if you have the cowboy perk, it just does the most damage. It's got good accuracy. This one is the cut-down version of this. This is based off of a Winchester 1887, which is a very iconic shotgun, made famous in Westerns, as well as it shows up in like the second Terminator movie. So it's really cool. This is the pistol grip version of it and slightly cut-down version of it. You could have a full-sized 1887 as well. That would have the stock, as well as it could have a longer barrel and a longer tube on it. I kind of wish that that was a mod or mods that you could put on this weapon. Unfortunately, this one doesn't get any in the game, but it's modeled really well. The reload animation is pretty correct. You do kind of just, you know, shove things into the gun. There's not a whole lot of really detailed animations in this, but at least it does reload correctly, which is good. And it's even got a partial reload, which is better than what we would see in some of the later Fallout games. So lever action shotgun is awesome, and I could definitely see people wanting to carry around something like this. It would probably be quite reliable. It would be pretty devastating at close range. You get follow-up shots with it. All of that is pretty good. Coming in at my number 2 spot, we have the Dinner Bell. Now, the Dinner Bell is the unique hunting shotgun, which is going to be the number 1 spot because, well, there's no other shotgun. This is modeled off of an 870 pump action shotgun, and this would probably be like my go-to shotgun if I was in the wasteland. This thing holds the correct amount of shots, although the hunting shotgun can hold even more, which would also be correct based on the extension that you could put on it. And shotguns like this come in quite a few different varieties of what you can kind of modify them to, or just different models of them, basically being the same gun. Yeah, this one would be good. The only reason why this one's a little bit lower than the hunting shotgun is because I don't really like the camo on it. And that's about it. I mean, this one does already have a choke on it, which would be awesome. It'd be really nice to have a shotgun with a choke. That way you get a bit better pellet spread. And since this one can use all the different ammos, since there's a lot of different ammos in New Vegas, this one would be a perfect weapon to be carrying around throughout the wasteland. Since you could hunt just about everything with it, I don't see any creature besides maybe a Deathclaw giving you issues. But then again, maybe a 12-gauge slug would be enough to harm a Deathclaw. So that might not be that big of a deal. and you also have some of the other rounds that you can load into this, like flechettes and dragon's breath. Don't know if that would be the best for fighting like a Deathclaw, but you do get a lot of variety, so that's pretty awesome. You can even take it with the beanbags and have it be a less lethal weapon if you didn't want to actually, kill something, hopefully, with it. And then my number one pick goes to the hunting shotgun, once again modeled off the 870. It's a fantastic shotgun. I really like the mods that it gets, and it looks fantastic. This is my absolute favorite shotgun in the game, and I wouldn't change anything about it. I mean, even the mods suit it really well, where you can get an extended tube to take it to 8 rounds, and you can get a choke on it, which also works just fine. It looks fantastic. It looks like it would be extremely functional, and I wouldn't be surprised in the Wasteland if people were carrying around pump-action shotguns pretty often, especially given that this is in the US, and there is a ton of pump-action shotguns and a lot of different variants of it. The 870 is one of the most common ones. You also have things like the Mossberg 500 or the Ithaca 37. All of them are different models of pump-action shotguns, but all of them should work the same. They also come in these very standard shotgun shell gauges as well, like the 20 gauge and the 12 gauge. So finding ammunition for this probably wouldn't be that bad. Shotguns would also be pretty easy for if you needed to make your own ammo for. It wouldn't be that difficult for somebody to put that together. So hunting shotgun, really good. Overall, the shotguns in New Vegas are fantastic all across the board. They look like real shotguns because they're pretty much all based on real shotguns. They function in the game really well. They're all very strong. I really like all of them. Even the lower ones here, like the Caravan shotgun, I would still probably prefer over most of the other Fallout game shotguns. Tell me your thoughts on this. Which is your favorite shotgun based on design? And what weapons would you like to see next? We have a lot of them to cover in New Vegas. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.